Hello to the channel, welcome back everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. See lots of debates about essence and stuff on Twitter, etc. So probably not going to go into that too much in this video, but if you stick around with me until the end, we'll have a quick chat about it, I guess, since it's on topic. So anyways, I never managed to get a rewards video out on Friday night. Apologies for that. Have a charity engagement, which was good fun. And had some stuff on over the weekend as well. So just decided to open it myself. We did end up having quite a good result midweek. So £300 in cash. Celtic, obviously, even after the carnage of all the lineups, did manage to pull through and won. So pretty pleased with that. Got $250 in contender D1. It was a difficult one, obviously 6 changes. Nobody really could have predicted that. Tier 4, Division 2 wasn't really worth even talking about, to be honest. We managed to get a few boxes as well. So we'll have a quick look and see what we're on in terms of essence just now. Don't mention that word, essence. Oh. So we're on 378 in terms of limited. We're on 341 in terms of rare. Super rare wise, was just selling off some super rares and done a couple of sort of crafts which were really poor, not even worth the minimum bid, to be honest. So just turned them over for whatever I could really get for them. I'm not really in the mood to talk about super rare essence and everything at the moment. Anyway, so let's do the preview for the midweek. So first and foremost, we're going to have a look at the games, and then we'll have a look at Celtic as well, who are playing against Leipzig. First thing to point out in terms of the preview for midweek is there's no data at the moment for Chelsea against Noah, or whatever they're called. I do think that's obviously a really good fixture for any sort of Chelsea holders. So if you're playing in the sort of in-season version of that competition, you'll see in a wee minute I've pre-picked some lineups, etc. Thanks for the feedback on that as well. Again, we're pushing on over 1,800 subscribers for the channel, which is much appreciated. If you're enjoying the videos, please like, subscribe, etc. It's free. I'm giving you all the Celtic information for free as well. If you do want to get all the lineup information, I don't show the other stuff on Predictify, you can sign up using the code McBriday. So anyway, Borussia Dortmund against Sturm Graz, best fixture it looks like in the Champions League, 2.99 XG, 50% clean sheet percentage. I'll never believe that Dortmund ever have 50% clean sheet percentage, honestly. They just seem to concede all the time. What I would say is, they're really good at home. Atmosphere's great. Beat Celtic 7-1, so that kind of goes without saying. Anyways, we'll come back to that in a wee minute. But yeah, really good fixture for Dortmund. A few injuries at the moment, guys like Adeyemi, etc. out. Bino Gittins seems quite hit or miss, but they do have lots of good quality players like Schlotterbeck, Brandt, etc. Barcelona are just insane at the moment. I mean, yeah, the Real Madrid stat killers. I mean, they've just been so good. So 2.87 XG, 51% clean sheet percentage. Going away to Red Stars, not the easiest of fixtures, but yeah, Barcelona just look really top quality. Bayern Munich against Benfica. See, Bayern finally kept a clean sheet the weekend as far as I can see. Benfica are interesting. I mean, I think they're quite a dangerous team. They have lots of good players, but they don't seem to keep a lot of clean sheets at the moment. There's a bit of, I think the defence, Araujo seems to have sort of won the place over Antonio Silva. Otamendi, has got lots of experience, but sometimes getting a wee bit of stick. Carreras looks pretty exciting at left back. Maybe fair to say he's maybe better going forward than defending. Don't know, I've not seen enough of him, but he's been really good in Sorare. So anyway, 2.68 XG for Bayern Munich. Lower clean sheet percentage, and that makes sense to me. Manchester United against PAOK. We've got Angerim in there as well. So just as I make my sporting collection to build around Guy Okerez, the manager buggers off. So I'm not delighted about that, but yeah, will Manchester United sign any of those guys in January, etc.? I don't know. I mean, Guy Okerez just now is just banging them in, so I'm probably just going to stick with that after sort of spending a couple of hundred on Pote, we're going Calves to go with him as well. Rapid Vienna against Petro Cup, again, good fixture for them. Goalkeeper Heddle, I think still, it's Austria. Yeah, Rapid Vienna. I don't get mixed up between Austria Vienna and Rapid Vienna. I was going to talk about Heddle there, but I'm probably talking about the long club. So there we go. Shut up, Mark. Betis against Celtic. I mean, one of the things I really struggle with a wee bit in these competitions is some of the teams are rotating quite a lot. So that's a wee bit difficult. So it's probably not much worth me talking about teams where I don't really have much knowledge, like Betis and Vienne. Real Madrid, I do have a lot of knowledge of. They have been pretty poor for SO5, but they did get a weekend off, not in good circumstances, really terrible circumstances in Valencia with all the floods and the storms and everything, all the damage. AC Milan are pretty hit and miss this season, so I don't think they're really that good. So I could see Real Madrid doing well against them. Again, low clean sheet percentage. Will Courtois be back? And to look into that. Come back to that in a wee minute because I have to start picking some lineups. St Gallen against Larne. Larne are pretty poor. They're right down at the bottom. St Gallen don't really have any licensed players, etc. A wee shout out there is Bastien Thoma. Used to play at Genk, I think. He's doing pretty well at the moment. Obviously, it's just classic cards you can get. There's no in-season versions, but pretty good. Ajax coming off a really good result against PSV, winning 3-2. That is pretty good for them. PSV, I think, were undefeated in 59 games or something in the league. Or domestically, I think it was in the league. But anyway, that's just a really good result. Farioli seems to be getting tune out of them. Feyenoord against Salzburg. Again, this Champions League game looks like Bijlo's won the place there as well. Not really surprised. I always thought he was a better goalkeeper than Willenreufer. Salzburg really disappointing, so it could be a good one for Feyenoord holders there as well. Bodo Glimt, I've got a few cards, but nothing really currently licensed. Pretty good team though. So if you've got your Evgens, Hogga, Bjorkan, etc., it's one to use. Liverpool against Leverkusen will be a fun game. I mean, Liverpool have been a lot tighter at the back, although Brighton did have good few chances at the weekend. So I think that 32% clean sheet percentage is pretty accurate. But 1.97 XG, quite interesting. European night should be a good one. Get Besiktas against Malmo. Celtic not really featuring on here at all, which I'm a wee bit surprised about. I mean, where are Celtic? Are we even here? Are we even here? There's lots of good fixtures, so I'm probably going to leave it at that, because obviously I just like to pick out the best fixtures. 1.29 XG and 20% clean sheet percentage is pretty interesting stats. So on that note, let's have a wee look at the Celtic prediction. So I'll need to move myself all sorted on a better screen now. So as you can see, this is the prediction by McBrides, me. So Celtic against Leipzig. What's the history to this? Celtic scored 5 goals against Bratislava the first game. They only really had one that they hit, was kind of jammy goal and went in, but Celtic didn't really look like conceding, but unlucky. Celtic then played away against Borussia Dortmund, and it was one of those games, obviously conceded early. There was no Vickers at that point. Trusty was kind of playing on the right-hand side of defence. It was a bit makeshift. Went one each. Celtic really good reaction, and then Dortmund hit one and it goes in. They scored a few goals from outside the box as well, so I would say a bit of a freak result. Obviously, watching Celtic away in the Champions League, people would say, oh, it's not really a freak result, Celtic are rubbish. But Celtic then went away to Atalanta, and everybody was like, right, we're hiding behind the couch here, we're going to get humped. And if you look at Atalanta's other games, after that game, they scored 6. They've just walloped Napoli away from home as well, who were league leaders. So a 0-0 draw was a real good effort by Celtic. So, on to the game against Leipzig. What can we expect here? I think that from Leipzig point of view, this is my Celtic prediction, which we'll talk about in a wee minute. Oops, wrong button again. But I want to see how Leipzig are fancied to set up. So get Gulashi in goals, he's fit again. Klosterman, Orban, Geertruida, all pretty solid. Geertruida did play for Feyenoord actually here last season and lost, got beat 2-1. Campo, Haidara, Nusa Baumgartner, Sesko and Openda. So there's a lot of pace in there. That could be obviously something that's quite difficult for Celtic to play against. Pace does seem to be an issue, and I'll come back to that now. So Kasper Schmeichel in goals, really good performance, obviously, away at Atalanta. Really been pretty solid in the league, pretty comfortable on the ball. I'm not saying I don't think he's best shot stopper in the world, but certainly I was at the cup semi-final at the weekend and really good on the ball. Valley and Trusty are the contentious ones. It does look like Alex Valley's won that place. Started the semi-final against Aberdeen, played very well again. If he gets dropped, I'll be baffled, honestly. I know that Greg Taylor is the one that's been playing, but Valley played really well. Celtic won 6-0. Why would you change anything after winning 6-0, right? I mean, against Aberdeen as well, who are the sort of title contenders at the moment. Austin Trusty is a real interesting one. It does look like Scales is done for at the moment in terms of a lot of these games. So what Brendan Rodgers said was his teams like to play with a high line, and to do that, defenders need pace, and Trusty has more pace, and he had a decision to make. In other words, Trusty is favoured at the moment. So you can be assured that unless I'm talking complete and utter nonsense and just lost my mind in terms of what Rodgers said, I would be really, really surprised if Scales starts against Leipzig. I think Trusty goes far as saying Trusty would have to be injured. So I think we'll see Trusty and Carter Vickers, and we'll see how that goes. There might be then some rotations going into league games and things, but we'll just need to wait and see how that's all managed out. Carter Vickers, again, so he played from the start against Aberdeen, looked pretty good, maybe marginally uncomfortable at times. I don't know how he's getting on with this thing, with his toe or whatever. We'll come back to obviously the Kilmarnock game later on this week. Celtic have got a game at Kilmarnock at the weekend, and he might be more of a risk for that based on the surface, etc. But he played, came off later on in the game, got a nice rest. Alistair Johnson, terrific again. McGregor, Hatate and Engels. I thought that it was one of the best midfield performances I've seen overall for Celtic. McGregor obviously was held back with his wee issue with the adductor or whatever, so he missed the game last weekend. He didn't play midweek. Engels did play midweek, but again he had a rest at the weekend. Hatate was brilliant, played so well, again was rested midweek. What really impressed me with Engels was that he did get 2 assists, so that was really nice. Good delivery from set pieces. First goal into Carter Vickers right on his head. But also Aberdeen had a few where they came through and Engels really came back and did some of the defensive work in terms of the legs to get back. So yeah, I mean, if this midfield doesn't start against Leipzig, then I think somebody would have to be injured. And the same goes for up front, really. I mean, Maeda scored a hat-trick and he was outstanding. Kaya is just a complete and utter maniac. If you can get, you'll probably get the Celtic goals highlights on Twitter or something, but have a look at it if you can see. One of the goals, basically he's won it back, then he's beat a guy and then he's set up for Furuhashi, and just the goal's just all about Dyson. And then he's had some other moments where obviously second goal was an excellent goal as well. Furuhashi again, I think will start. Ida did come back and get some minutes, but Furuhashi scored his goal. Movement was really good, worked hard for the team. Again, it always seems to turn up in big games, semi-finals, Hampden, etc. Nicholas Kuhn was outstanding. The only wee thing with Nicholas Kuhn was he was hobbling a wee bit in the second half, but Rodgers at that point, I think, chose not to take him off straight away, and then, I think he eventually did take him off. So there's a marginal doubt there, but he kind of played on a bit after, and it just looked as if maybe just sort of, I think he either took a kick or he rolled his ankle. So there was a couple in the game where there was a couple of bad tackles on him, and I think it was just a wee bit of a legacy from that. So I think the fact that he was left on, I think he should be okay. He'll probably be getting the ice packs and everything on it. But yeah, I suppose he's a slight doubt for the game against Leipzig in that basis. But Celtic will be doing their very best to get him involved. So in terms of lineup selections, etc., I have actually started having a look at this. I'm aware that sometimes we get to this point and I'm sort of running out of steam. So rather than putting in any new lineups, I've pre-picked a couple. So like they cooking programs into it and they say, oh, we've got one in the oven here, and they bring out this fantastic pie or whatever. Anyway, No puns intended there. So, Champions League wise, obviously super rare, and in season I've got to go with Celtic because that's pretty much what I own. You can see here that I'm going with this sort of double defence route here. Celtic do dominate possession quite a lot, and I just feel like, unless we think Celtic are going to score 3 or 4 goals against Leipzig, then this is the route to have a sort of remotely winning lineup, which is going to be really difficult in the Champions League. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's lots of top quality about, and if I had Mbappe's, and I don't know, would Mbappe get into this team? I don't know. Only joking. If I had like guys like Mbappe and Yamal and all that sort of stuff, then you would be mixing in guys like that and going optimal or whatever as people describe it. But I've got to run stacks, so that's what I'm going for. As you say, I'm going behind Austin Trusty playing there as well. In terms of rare, we're going a bit different. So Musiala has been promoted from Bayern Munich, and he's getting a game with the mighty Glasgow Celtic. Now, I don't really have in-season Bayern Munich players, so I'm sort of banking on, firstly, maybe Benfica cause some issues and score. I think they definitely can. I mean, you've got so much quality up there. Pavlidis, for example, scored 2 goals away at England in the Nations League, so you can't rule out scoring against that Bayern defence. And we've got guys like Kerem Aktürkoğlu, Di Maria. They've got loads of quality Benfica. Anyway, why is that relevant? Well, you say why play Musiala in this competition, but might not be a game for Bayern stacks, or it might be, they might wallop them, who knows. So I just kind of went through and thought, well, who are the highest score potential ones? Schmeichel, we would imagine, maybe get a bit of AA in this game. Johnson's been in unbelievable form. Arne Engels on all the sets and penalties, and Nicholas Kuhn's got the best AA of the forwards. You could easily go with Maeda or whatever after the hat trick, but it doesn't tend to do much by way of AA. In terms of the other team that I've put out here, so Courtois, obviously I need to see if there's any news on whether he's playing or not. If it's clear that Lunen's going to play, then I'll play Lunen. Especially because it's obviously in-season cards, and that's my main in-season collection. Schlotterbeck I'm drafting in here. I just think like that's quite a good fixture, and you'll see before we looked at the one for Dortmund, and Schlotterbeck is just a complete and utter maniac. So just it tends to put up a lot of AA, and you would imagine Dortmund will dominate the game against Sturm Graz as well. Even if you do concede, you can pop up with assists and all that sort of stuff. Bellingham and Mbappe, I'm still kind of going behind this sort of quality route. As Brendan Rodgers would say, quality, pace, power. Yeah, I mean, they've been shite. There's no two ways about it, but I'm expecting a reaction. They had the weekend off, so I'm thinking that there's going to be a lot of soul searching, and we got humped by Barca, and we never won the Ballon d'Or with Vinicius and all that type of stuff, and I think there'll be a reaction there. And Gyökeres, I think, can score against anybody. Again, I could put in an Real Madrid player there as well, but big victor after 4 goals. And Man City can, beaten by Bournemouth. You can't say they're exactly watertight. So there we go. Specialist-wise, this is kind of the best of the rest type thing. I didn't think I'd actually get an in-season or a specialist one. And interesting thing Sorare have done here is they've relaxed the requirements a wee bit and said, okay, it's specialist, but you can put in 3 in-season cards, which I think is a good decision because you need 2 under 50 average players. Frimpong, again's dangerous against anybody, mainly himself if he's AA, to be honest, but I've gone with Maeda and Valley in there as well. I guess I could play Valley in under 23s, but we'll come back to it in a wee minute. Lazarus Marzic probably won't start, but I'm running out in-season cards at that point. So, you can't get relegated. So why not, really, My best of Europe, I've gone for Jorgensen and Disasi. Disasi, I had a limited card left over, and obviously you get a wee boost for that. I think Musiala is well capable of putting in a great performance against Benfica. I've gone with Mbappe and Kuhn. I don't know why I've put Mbappe in. I honestly don't know. I just think that he'll come good at some point. We'll see whether that's right or not. All-Star, again, I'm just putting a few Celtic players in here. Have spare goalkeepers. There's no contender open midweek. I can't go into the specialist competition because I don't have any in-season cards left, so that's why I've gone along that route. European League and Conference in season, so obviously I've got a Chelsea stack, which is quite interesting. So I get 2 entries into this, so I could be able to play like a second team with Owusu Ojuro, put some of the other Chelsea guys in. I've mixed in a Bjorkan just as a differential, as well. But I think for the main team, I don't really know a team that well, and there's not much by way of information on them. But my theory here is Jorgensen obviously is the goalkeeper for that competition. Badiashile, I think, should start. You'd imagine you could get some AA for that game, so I've kind of chosen like a centre back rather than a full back. Enzo Fernandez hasn't been playing in the main Premier League team, which you'll be disappointed by, but his form's not been good, but this will be his chance. And Kunku's on pens in the Conference League, and João Felix was good the last time. So, Chelsea with their kind of like reserves team or their backup team scored 4 goals at Panathinaikos, so you'd imagine they'll score a few goals here. So I've gone for double forward. I might change that. I don't know. I might go for double defence, but it's hard to call who's going to play. So look at predictions. Probably have a chat to Daniel Toft and see what he's thinking. Champions Classic team. I do have a Vindal left over. I think this is a reasonable fixture because obviously Brest more of a sort of solid team, and Sparta Prague at home. Big Virgil against Leverkusen. Got Griezmann. It's away against PSG is not the easiest fixture, but guys obviously class. Nicholas Kuhn in there, and Charles de Ketelaere has been excellent. I like Stuttgart, but Atalanta, you would have to say, are danger men after beating Napoli. There's no 2 ways about it. I mean, they beat Napoli away, so there's no reason why they can't go and get a result. Under 23s, I'm really pleased with this pick up of Maxime Delange. I know that they've signed Eloy Room for a bit of cover for goalkeeper position with Wallace now, but Delange obviously has to play in Europe because they couldn't register Room, so they've left him in the league, and he's put in a few good performances. So for £100 for under 23 goalkeeper, I'm really happy with that. As a super rare version, playing away against Lask, I've got Valentin Gomez in there. Luis Enrique, I think, should come back in now. He's been kind of a wee bit in now. Arne Engels, we've talked about. And Aaron Molinas put up a big 90 at the weekend as well. So that's my team. And I think it's projected Division 2, which is a shame. Thought it would go up. Probably not that much to actually win. Team C here in the under 23s has got promoted. So going to go with Bernabei at home. He's putting up some really high scores again. Luis Enrique, Gomez and Molinas. So really very similar there as well. And then my under 23s team, this is my initial selection in Division 1. So Jarell Hato is an interesting one, scoring really, really well. Home against Maccabi Tel Aviv, I think that is. MTA, I think it is. Got Aguirre Zabala for Bilbao. So away from home, probably a more difficult one. Musiala, same, got the forward card. Bernabei, Arne Engels in there as well. And I think that concludes the teams that I have sort of pre-picked so far. So that concludes the preview. We usually do about half an hour, so it's left about sort of 5 or 6 minutes at the end. Where we've got 5 or 6 minutes. So if you can still be arsed listening to me, then thanks very much. Do appreciate it. I don't get as much many views on these videos as I do on the sort of crafting or I do on the rewards, but I know a lot of the loyal people rely on some of this information for their team week or get their selections, etc. So much appreciated. Remember, please like and subscribe. We're aiming towards 2,000 subscribers, which I would never ever imagined when I started out 253 videos ago or whatever. So what is happening just now with the sentiment and everything in Sorare? Yeah, I mean, it's an issue at the moment, right? So we had this thing where the essence was reduced. Not good. Not handled well either. I mean, I think that Sorare could have handled it better. You put out these kind of PR type posts and it's necessary and sustainable and whatever. Why not just have some balls and just apologise, just say, look, yeah, we fucked that up. We've underestimated the behaviours of people, we've underestimated the figures or whatever, and we're going to run out of cards, so we have to do something different. The other thing as well is I just think that there's just a proper tone deaf reaction to it in terms of understanding the community. So, okay, we need to encourage people to spend money in in-season cards every season, and that includes existing users like me. And okay, we need to make it so that people can buy in, because we can't have this scenario where you've all existing users with £100,000 galleries or whatever, or tens of £1,000 galleries, and people buy in, but they're at a severe disadvantage, so they don't want to put their money into the game because they're getting hammered by older users. But we've already got in-season, we've got Classic, and, you know, there's some things I'm seeing here and I just think, just naive. You know, for example, there's an next weekend, so not this game week coming, next weekend, there's a beat the target in-season Essence comp. Why? I mean, maybe that was on the calendar or it was on the cards before they made the changes, but like, just fucking cancel it and replace it with something else and put the Essence back into the pools. Like, honestly, like, that's just bonkers to me, and it's not even that good, to be honest. Like, I think that'll be like, would I be buying an in-season card to try and enter that to get 100 Essence for the top target? Nah, definitely not. So then we've got this midweek. There was a specialist Champions League added in with $20,000. Oh, it's another in-season competition. Fantastic. Why not actually take some money and fucking put it into a classic competition? Like, seriously? Like, why not just actually say, alright, we've got this budget here, and, you know, like, we're still selling cars and they're still selling okay. Why don't we just give something back to people who've just fucked over by making changes? And the other thing with making changes just now is, right, this is the 4th of November as we speak. The changes were before this, and obviously Sorare could see an issue in the projections, but they promised not to make changes out with January and the summer. So it's obviously going to lead to bad sentiment if you go and you start arsing about with things. And also, some of the things that they did were redistribution as well. So it was like, we're going to make the specials more exciting. You didn't have to do that. Why not say, we want to make the specials more exciting, but we'll stick to the windows that we've agreed, and we're going to change it in January. Here's your 2 months notice. Not, oh, by the way, it's changing tomorrow. Oh, shite, we've not got the boxes ready. What will we do? We'll get the boxes ready. And then 2 days later, everybody will log onto the site and go, that's pish. So it's just been so badly handled, honestly. It's like just coming across as unprofessional. So I know that none of that will be what Sorare really wanted, and I get all the PR stuff, etc. And maybe I'm part of it because I usually just come on and just blurt out what I'm thinking, and then that obviously creates bad sentiment as well. So I'm sorry for that, but I can't help it. That's just the way I am. I always just try and be realistic, and just when things have been going well, I put out loads and loads of positive posts. I put out loads of stuff that I like, but when I don't like something, I don't want to be one of these arsehole guys that just comes on Twitter or YouTube all the time and just pretends that everything's all magic when people aren't happy. Because I can see why people are a bit disengaged with Classic, etc. after having the boxes reduced. You know, it was a good thing having Essence. It was a bit of fun for people. There's a reason to keep your cards. Okay, the cards are not worth much, but you can grind a bit, you can build towards something, you can maybe get a good pool, etc. So you could have done something different. They could have just said, look, you can't get any stars in the first 2 thresholds. You need to build up towards like 100 or whatever, and then you just get stars in there. Instead, they just nerfed it. So I just thought it was just a really bad decision overall, like really proper poor. And then just following that, having like, oh yeah, we'll get 3 French clubs now and we're going to give out Essence. Why just not give out Essence for the new French clubs and just do something else? Give another promotion. Just say, right, get the thinking caps on here. We don't have enough Essence. Put that Essence back into what we promised. Don't have an in-season Essence competition, and do something else. Give out, auction credits. Just do something else. Don't anyway, I've been ranting for 5 or 6 minutes, but I just think like it's just been a shit show of a decision, that, and you can see it's cost them money. So if Sorare can't see that, then fucking they can't see the wood for the trees. That's the nicest thing I can say. And sorry, I've been swearing a couple of times here as well. But anyway, that's just how I feel about it. So if you get to this part of the video, this will show me whether anybody can actually be bothered getting to 30 minutes in the videos. But if you have got to this point, then give me your own comments and your feedback or whatever. I'd imagine that a lot of people are just a bit more disengaged because I can see from the actual views on the videos and stuff. The last rewards video I did probably had about half the views of the previous one, so it has been a bit of a sentiment killer, and just probably just people are just like, I can't really be bothered with Sorare at the moment. I'll just do whatever. You don't always have to sell up. I mean, obviously, this is the very first season of things. As I say that, I have sold some super rares, etc., but I think that that's particularly bad due to lack of supply and the essence being even worse. And Sorare really need to get their thinking caps on there, because a lot of the guys at the top of the game are quite happy to play in super rare, and kind of maybe stay away from some of the other areas, and let some other people build their nice stacks and limited or whatever, and get on with it. But the way that Sorare have done it, the way that the money's handed out, the prizes obviously promotes the lower scarcities, and people will want to play for fun and try and win the cash. So unless the top end's a bit more generous than it is just now, then nothing's going to change, and it's just going to be a shit show. It's just a bad advertisement for Sorare. Like, I said one thing on Twitter, I'm going to end pretty soon, but like, low prices and stuff are not necessarily attractive to people. So what usually is attractive to people are things that are quite scarce, things that are quite hard to get, things that are quite expensive and almost like out of reach. You think it like Mbappe, like, okay, Mbappe, etc. always used to be high prices, but there were actually high prices to the extent that people couldn't actually afford them before. And then that was the dream, because now you can just go and buy an Mbappe. You just put €100 in or 100 quid or whatever and just go and buy a Mbappe Limited. And I know he's been garbage, but maybe Yamal's more reasonable example, because he's got about 100 years left in the game or whatever as well. But Yamal's a reasonably affordable price for existing users anyway. Maybe not if you're just coming into the game going, he's about 150 quid or whatever. But it's just not right. It's a game where things should be more scarce, more difficult to get, and that's just not really the way it's been working out. So how does Sorare reverse that? I don't know. Obviously, we are where we are now, and the game's more sustainable. See, at this stage, I would just stop saying sustainable. Like, just stop saying it. Like, just stop patronising people and just saying, yeah, it's got to be sustainable, as if it's some sort of good thing that every time we look at updates or whatever, then it's a thing that's not in favour of users, and then just saying, it's got to be sustainable, yeah. It's got to be fun, people have got to be engaged, people have got to be enjoying it. So just stop saying sustainable. We know that you've had to make changes for sustainability. Why not just focus on looking after your existing users, making things fun, and just correcting the things that you've fucked up? That's what I would do. Anyways, on that note, we'll end. And if you're playing midweek, we'll end in the customary fashion. Good luck and go fuck.